So I saw this news headline recently. It said vegan sues Burger King, claims the Impossible Whopper is contaminated. And I thought to myself, oh, it's another radical vegan tarnishing the reputation of those that are more sensible among us. Here's the scoop. Burger King began selling the Impossible Whopper in August of 2019. Now, being the first meatless burger offered by the fast food chain and being introduced during the explosive rise of plant-based meat worldwide, the company's 2019 third quarter revenues have been steadily on the rise, in large part due to the plant-based burger's arrival onto the menu. Now, the CEO of BK's Toronto-based parent company, which is known as Restaurant Brands International, stated that the Impossible Whopper is responsible for a 5% increase in sales since its introduction, and it seems to me that there are no indications that this newfound momentum will falter anytime soon. Burger King claims that their new non-meat Whopper has been designed for meat eaters that want to consume less animal protein, and it was not made specifically for vegans or vegetarians. It's impossible to know whether this newfound popularity is the consequence of attracting vegans and vegetarians versus newfound reducitarians.
Little do they know their Whopper patty was actually made from plants.
You're f***ing kidding me.
We're not, Grant.
Wait, plant-based? What are you talking about?
No animals, just plants.
Really? This is a f***ing cow.
No f***ing cow.
Tastes like a Whopper.
Tastes like Whopper.
Tastes like a beef burger.
It's made of f***ing beef right here. You see that? It's beef.
We swear.
Now, that happens to be a convenient legal defense, given that Burger King is now the defendant in what is shaping up to be a class action lawsuit on the basis of false advertisement. To put it plainly, Burger King's standard procedure has been to cook the plant-based patty on grills shared by beef patties, and there it is prepared utilizing fat from cow flesh as a lubricant and as an additive for flavor. That's where Burger King runs into some trouble. Now, this may not seem like a big deal to most people, which means basically anybody that is an omnivore, not of a vegetarian variety, because their digestive systems are accustomed to ingesting animal fats and proteins. For this reason, meat eaters maintain a set of gut flora which are the product of meat consumption. So the introduction of animal-based fat or protein to the body doesn't upset their system. And in this case, beef fat is not a problem for the consumer. However, if one is unaccustomed to eating beef fat, ingesting it will usually cause a near immediate discomfort and sickness in the form of indigestion. This is why, when preparing foods for vegans or vegetarians, it's important to practice safety from cross-contamination, even in the case of cooked meats. Now, this case arose because the new Whopper's ad campaign has been a hot topic for the vegan community online during the months following its release. So the important question is, does the plaintiff, Phillip Williams, have a legitimate case? And the short answer is, yes, he does. The definition of false advertising is the use of false, misleading, or unproven information to advertise products to consumers. In the United States, where this is all happening, it's the role of the Federal Trade Commission to first identify cases of false advertising and then, if and when found guilty, move to enforce the law. And while it's fair to say that the Impossible Whopper isn't specifically marketed to vegans and vegetarians, as BK's spokespeople have often stated, and it is also okay to claim that the product is 100% Whopper, it is definitely not, and in fact it is scientifically inaccurate, to state in marketing material that the product is 0% beef, because it's just simply not true.
A patty with 0 milligrams of cholesterol, 17 grams of protein, 100% Whopper, and 0% beef. We know it's impossible to believe. The Impossible Whopper.
Lies!
Making this a class action lawsuit could amplify the case, and there are countless first-hand witnesses that would be willing to testify, thereby lending their experiences to the prosecution. So, what's my opinion on all this? As I said already, when I first saw the headline, I thought to myself, oh gosh, here we go again. Another far-left example of radical veganism sabotaging the reputation and merits of the plant-based movement. I wish these guys would just tone it down a bit so that the mainstream would stop viewing vegans as radical and intolerant. But then I did some more surface level research and realized this is actually grounds for a legitimate legal argument. These folks know what they're doing, and I kind of admire the cause. Let me explain. If this were some small family-owned business that was just trying to sell burgers and at the same time was reducing animal slaughter and meat consumption, I would be totally against the lawsuit for obvious reasons. But we're talking about an international super corporation that goes by the name RBI, recently created by a merger between Burger King and Tim Hortons, and actually most recently Popeye's Chicken as well, making this the 5th largest fast food company in the world. I know from experience that machines like that are on a quest to devour as many resources as possible and are very seldom driven by ethics or humane treatment of people or animals. And I'm also the sort that likes to side with the underdog. So after learning a bit more, I found that even despite the surface level optics of the situation, that will inevitably be viewed by media organizations such as Fox News as extremely radical vegan agenda, I've decided that Phillip Williams and the legal team working on this case are on the right side of history, because there is a clear case of false advertisement here, which ultimately serves to besmirch the authenticity of what would otherwise be truly plant-based burgers, which I believe need to rapidly displace their meat-based counterparts for the best interest of humanity's survival, if for no other reason. Also, I know what it's like to be the victim of cross-contamination. It sucks. Chipotle? I'm looking at you. At the end of the day, Burger King has got money to spare. They could settle the case with the third quarter Impossible Whopper profits alone, and most of the money would probably be divided amongst anyone that had purchased and consumed the Impossible Burger under false pretenses, if the case were to be granted class action status. But perhaps most importantly, I see this as a form of activism that is essential to the ongoing transition away from factory farming and livestock-based agriculture at large, which is very important. And although most people will probably see this as a petty squabble between a vegan and a fast food restaurant, this case spreads awareness about cross-contamination, which is a serious issue for people that are abstaining from meat consumption that just want to be able to eat out every once in a while. So in closing, good on you, Phil Williams. We'll be following this case as it develops, and thank you for having the audacity to stick it to the man every once in a while. And to our viewers, if you've gained nothing else from hearing this story, or you simply don't care about the legal disputes of this nature, part with this. If we can take away anything, it is clear and self-evident that society is gradually consuming less meat. And that's a win for us all. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this short summary of what is shaping up to be a very interesting lawsuit. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for all of your reducitarian needs going forward. We'll see you in the next video.
It's not beef.
That's impossible. It tasted just like a Whopper should taste.
Lies!